Hey, good day, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Andrew's Life. On this video, I will be driving through one of Evansville's most expensive, most prestigious, most fluent communities, which is here on the far north end of Evansville, Indiana. Now, I would say on average, the price for one of these homes are going to be $300,000. Now, I did see a couple of houses in this community that are currently up for sale on the MLS for close to $300,000. There's one in particular that's currently for sale on the MLS for $296,000. So, if you want to know exactly where that house is located, it's here in Evansville. It's going to be in this community. What you're going to have to do is you're going to have to go online, go on realtor.com, type in Evansville, Indiana, and then when you're on realtor.com, the part where they ask you to select a price range, go from 200,000 to 300,000, and you'll see what I'm talking about. I don't like to give specific addresses for the protection of the owner/seller. So if you're wanting to inquire on buying a house in this community, just understand that the average price of a home in this area is going to be, I would say on the low end, the housing prices are going to start at around $300,000. And I would say around here, you can be looking at well over $500,000. Now I'm going to also drive through some other parts of North Evansville, see what's out there. And I'm going to be entering in the Kingsmont community here in Evansville. Which is off of Old State Road. And so far, I've seen a couple of sheriff vehicles. So I'm assuming that there's going to be at least a couple of sheriffs that live in this neighborhood. And for those of you younger folks out here that are watching this video that might want to own a house in a community like this one day, that might be out here having fun doing what you do in your 20s and early 30s or whatnot. I mean, as I drive through these neighborhoods, I'm going to remind you folks again, pay very close attention to the vehicles that you see on these driveways, the vehicles that are parked by these houses. Pay close attention. Now, I mean, if you notice these, as I told you earlier on this video, I would say on the low end, a lot of these houses are going for, on the low end, $300,000. And I would say the prices can go well above $500,000 in this community. So bear that in mind as you look at these houses, and also bear in mind that, and also as you look at these houses, look at the vehicles, and just bear in mind that understand that the majority of the vehicles that you see are basic, everyday vehicles. I mean, check this guy out. You look at that truck is old school. I mean, that's a late 1980s Ford F-150. I remember those trucks back when I was a kid. That's the late 1980s Ford F-150. But yeah, a lot of times, people who live in these more prestigious communities are not going to be driving the fanciest vehicle. They're not going to be driving the fanciest, most expensive vehicle. You're not, like, when you look around in communities like this, you're not going to see a whole lot of exotic vehicles. Most of the time, you're going to see Dodge and Ford pickup trucks. You'll see some Ford Explorer SUVs. You'll see a few older model cars like that red sedan I just drove by, which is that's a Chrysler Cyrus or something like that. A lot of times in these kind of communities, the vehicles that you see are just everyday, down-to-earth vehicles that the average Joe can go purchase for a few $1,000s and take to any neighborhood mechanic for repairs. I mean, for a lot of you younger folks out here that might listen to hip-hop, understand that what you see on a lot of these hip-hop videos with the nice houses and the fancy Lamborghinis, understand a lot of that is bullcrap. It's not real. It's bullcrap. And let me let you guys in on a secret for those of you that don't know. Many of these artists don't necessarily live the life that they portray on television. I mean, they portray what they portray on video for the sole purpose of making money. I mean, they're basically doing what their boss wants them to do. Oh yeah, that's another thing. A lot of your favorite rappers and hip hop artists, yeah, they do got bosses. Just like many of us who work 9 to 5 have a boss. Many of your hip hop artists got bosses too, so understand that. Don't think that these artists are just out here writing music and they're doing what they want to do. No, they got bosses too. Understand that. And there's a lot of hip hop artists out here that, in reality, they're not driving the fancy cars. I mean, they may live in a nice neighborhood like this or a little fancier, but many of them are not necessarily driving the fanciest cars. They're not. Many of them are not wearing the most expensive clothes. In fact, many of your hip hop artists that that experience significant amounts of success in their career typically are not going to be out here flaunting their wealth. Many of them, if you were to see them out in public, you wouldn't even be able to tell who they were unless they opened up their mouth and they told you who they were or you recognized them. Other than that, many of you guys wouldn't even know who half these fellas were. Now, a lot of people who live in this community are going to most likely, communities like this are going to be the type of communities where you'll run into your everyday millionaires. Now, for those of you that watch Dave Ramsey and you remember Chris Hogan had a couple of books out. I mean, he's no longer with the Ramsey Solution team no more. I'm not getting into the politics of that. That's not what this video was about. But for those of you that watch Dave Ramsey, or you've watched Dave Ramsey at some point within the last few years, there was a Dave Ramsey personality member. His name was Chris Hogan, and Chris Hogan, during his time with the Ramsey Solution team, he put out a couple of books. One was Retire Expired. I think I got that title right. If I don't, leave a comment below and correct me. And then there was another book called Everyday Millionaire. And I want to say there's another book out called The Millionaire Next Door. Now, that book, I don't believe was written by Chris Hogan. It was written by somebody else. I completely forgot who it was, so my apologies. But when you read Chris Hogan's book, The Millionaire Next Door, I mean, this is what Chris Hogan is talking about. He's talking about people who basically live everyday lives. They drive everyday vehicles. They wear everyday clothes. They shop at everyday stores. And the majority of your everyday millionaires, they work everyday jobs. And they live in everyday communities. A lot of them aren't living this fancy, super sophisticated life. They're not living like football players. They're not living like some of your rappers. Not even close. But don't get it twisted. Some of your everyday millionaires actually have a higher net worth than some of your celebrities. Not because they made more money on their job or their business. It's because that they It's because they allocated their money better than many of your rappers or celebrities and ball players. It's because they've invested their money better. They've had better, they exercise more discipline, and they've exercised better stewardship of their resources. So for a lot of you younger cats out here, even for some of you that are my age, understand that. I mean, so for those of you females out here that you out here talking about you want a man that earns X amount of money, blah blah blah. Yeah, I'll be watching that stuff too. And some of you women, some of you ladies out here, man, y'all be off the chain with that crap. Y'all be off the chain with that crap. So FYI for some of you ladies, let me put you on some game real quick. Some of the men that you might pass up and not even give the time of day to because he works as a plumber or an electrician, he might only earn the quote-unquote average income. Let me put you ladies on some game real quick. Some of the men that you might assume are broke or dusty or whatever are the very same men that in another 10, 20 more years are gonna be everyday millionaires. Are you gonna know that they're an everyday millionaire? Most likely not, because people who reach that type of financial status are not gonna brag about their wealth. They're not gonna brag. They're not gonna flaunt it. Nobody will ever know who they are and what they got, because they're gonna be, emphasis on everyday millionaires. Emphasis on everyday. These are everyday people that you see in everyday society. So for you ladies out here that might be watching my channel, that might watch the other bull crap of how to get a high value man, peep the game real quick. Peep that game real quick. Peep that game. I'm trying to put you on some game real quick around here. Peep that game. The men who you assume have money, the men who you might think have money, might in reality be broke. And the men who you think are broke might in reality have a little bit of money. It's just that they're not going to be flaunting it. And they're not going to tell you about it. They're not going to discuss it. So that's, for you ladies out here, that's my little message to you ladies out here. For those of you that are out here spending crazy money, going to your beauty salon to get your hair done real nice, get your nails done real nice, hoping that on Sunday when you go to church, you can scoop up that high value man. This is a Fenway Park community. I'm gonna drive through it real quick. Yeah, for you ladies out here that y'all be getting your hair and your nails done real nice for church or for some gathering somewhere, or even for your job, hoping to scoop up that quote unquote high value man. Just remember what I just told you. Many of your high value men are gonna be hiding in plain view. All right, folks, I'm gonna go ahead and end the video right there. I mean, I think you guys get the point of that video, so I'm gonna go ahead and end it. So on that note, thanks for watching. Remember to subscribe, leave comments, and all that good stuff. Everybody have a blessed one, and I will see you guys on the next video.